Have you ever stopped to think about writing not as, that subject you had to learn in school, but as a piece of technology? A technology so powerful, it's basically humanity's first ever memory backup, our first external hard drive. Seriously, just try to picture it for a second. Imagine your brain had no save button. Every single idea, every discovery, every story, just gone the moment you forget it. All of human knowledge would have to be stored inside living, breathing minds with absolutely no backup. For most of human history, that wasn't a thought experiment. It was just reality. The oral tradition was our only storage medium, and man, was it fragile. All knowledge was limited by what a person could remember, and it was so vulnerable to the tiniest mistake in the retelling. An entire library of wisdom could literally vanish when one person passed away. But then, around 6,000 years ago, we came up with a solution, a brand new technology that let us offload our thoughts, give them a life of their own outside of our heads. See, writing isn't just about communication, it's about permanence. It really was humanity's first external hard drive. So, what was the huge problem that this new technology was invented to solve? Well, let's call it the Great Memory Failure. Here's the most important thing to get. Without a way to write things down, complex knowledge just couldn't be passed on reliably. Every generation was basically starting over from scratch. Humanity had a biological ceiling on how smart it could collectively be. Now, what's really wild is how this whole revolution got started. It wasn't some grand vision to write epic poems or timeless philosophy. Nope, the origins were way more practical, almost kind of mundane. And this is the part that surprises a lot of people. The big push to create a permanent record wasn't artistic or spiritual or philosophical. It was purely economic. That's right, accounting of all things. Back in ancient Sumer, as their societies got bigger and more complex, they ran into a massive data problem. How do you keep track of taxes, grain supplies, who owes who what? The human brain just can't scale to that level. They needed a ledger, so they started pressing these little wedge-shaped marks into wet clay tablets, a system we now call cuneiform. And what's crazy is that this just shows how universal the need was. The idea of writing popped up independently at least 4 different times in history. You had cuneiform on clay in Sumer. In Egypt, they were carving these beautiful hieroglyphs. Over in China, they were writing on oracle bones. And way later in Mesoamerica, totally unique systems were developed too. Every culture invented its own fix for the exact same problem. How do we save our data? Okay, so let's get to the real heart of the matter. This was about so much more than making lists. This was a fundamental rewiring of how humanity processed information itself. It was about offloading the human brain. There's this ancient Latin proverb that just nails it perfectly. Verba volant, scriptum manunt. It means spoken words fly away, written words remain. For the very first time, our thoughts didn't have to be these fleeting things that just disappeared on the wind. They could be anchored. They could stay. Just look at this comparison. Our biological memory is incredible, but let's be real. It's limited, it makes mistakes, and well, it dies with us. The written record, though, that's scalable. You can always add another page, another book. It's pretty much permanent. And this is the big one. It can outlive its creator by thousands of years, letting ideas build on top of each other, generation after generation. That simple act of scratching marks into clay, that was the direct ancestor of every storage device we use today, from the floppy disk to the cloud. It is the exact same idea, moving information from our fragile internal memory to a much more durable external medium. So once we had this memory backup, this external hard drive for humanity, it just unlocked this incredible cascade of new possibilities. It literally became the bedrock that complex societies could be built on. Just think about what this made possible. With writing, laws could finally be consistent and fair for everybody, not just based on who remembered what. History could be studied, not just told in stories. Science could actually advance, with researchers building on the recorded work of people who came before them. And, of course, complex bureaucracies could form, which allowed massive empires to scale and manage huge territories. None of that happens without writing. So you see, writing isn't just another tool. It's more like the operating system for civilization itself. It's the underlying code that allows everything from government to modern science to actually function. So let's bring this all the way into the modern world and really put it into the grand timeline of human thought. Make no mistake, this ancient technology is not some dusty relic. It is more essential today than it has ever been. The entire digital world, the internet, the apps on your phone, the very code that makes artificial intelligence work, it's all built on a foundation of written text. It is still our main way of transferring complex knowledge. This timeline really puts it all in perspective. The first big revolution was language itself, about 300,000 years ago. But for almost all of that time, language was trapped in the moment. Then, just 6,000 years ago, boom, the second revolution, writing, which freed our knowledge from time. That set the stage for number 3, the printing press, which scaled up distribution. And finally, the fourth revolution, the internet, which made it all instantaneous. So from simple accounting marks scratched onto a clay tablet, all the way to the massive, sprawling digital world of today, it all started with that one revolutionary idea, that our thoughts are worth saving. The invention of writing completely changed what it meant to be human. It gave us a collective memory. And today, as we're standing on the edge of new cognitive technologies like AI, it really leaves you with a profound question, doesn't it? If our first memory backup allowed us to remember, what will our next one allow us to become?